Hello, Husky Nation. Welcome to our first episode of Beyond the Bench. In this weekly series, we'll sit down with each of our head coaches at Bloomsburg University to get thoughts about their program and hopefully have a little bit of fun along the way. I'm Dave Leisering, Sports Information Director here at Bloomsburg. Our first guest on Beyond the Bench is the head coach of the women's soccer program, Matt Haney. Matt, thanks for joining me today, and thanks for being our guinea pig to get this series off the ground.
No problem, Dave. We'll see how it goes.
I know it's been a crazy and difficult time for the world over these last several months. How have you been able to stay connected with your team and keep them motivated for what lies ahead?
I think, the connection part of it has obviously been through the social media kind of thing and, using GroupMe and using, Zoom and talking as much as we can that way. And then the motivation factor is I believe we have a highly motivated group of young women here anyway. Our past success has kind of kept them motivated. They want to keep working to continue that success. So our motivation physically to stay fit, I think, has been kind of an easier one for us right now. But, the mental aspect of it has been a bit of a drag for everybody, obviously, and we've just kind of stayed together and let everybody know that we're in this together and we do it as one for all. So it's kind of the mantra we've been using is, we got to get this done together and make good decisions and come out of it when we can in a positive manner.
So in your 5 years, you've built the program with some excellent recruitment efforts. Talk about how you've been able to stay active on the recruiting trail during this time.
The activity on the recruiting trail obviously was limited to, from the computer, from our phones kind of idea, but we were able to continue to receive those emails, look at videos. We watched more video than we've ever watched in the past. And then started when we were able to bring people on campus, we've started doing that again. This past weekend, we were able to go out on the road and we put 888 miles on the vehicle, getting around to see different soccer players as potential student athletes. And, we've made offers. We're finishing off one class looking to, start working on that 2022 class as we move forward.
So what got you into coaching and what attracted you to Bloomsburg University?
I've always had an interest in coaching, even when I was playing. I played 3 sports growing up in small town Pennsylvania. And, I always tried to find the position that felt the most like the coach on the field. I was a goalkeeper in soccer, catcher in baseball, and believe it or not, I was actually a point guard in basketball. So I like those positions. It kind of was like, being the coach on the floor kind of idea. And then in my youth, my father really got heavily involved in coaching. He actually became a coach here at Bloomsburg with the women's basketball team as an assistant, and then baseball as an assistant, and then ascended to the head coaching job for the baseball team and was here for a long period of time. So when this opportunity came up to come back to Bloomsburg, I kind of jumped at it and hoped for the best, and it's worked out.
Let's talk about a little bit more about your father. He's been the baseball program's all-time winningest coach until Mike Collins tied him this past spring. I'm sure it'll be a bittersweet moment for you once Mike picks up his first win in 2021.
Yeah, a little bit, but, we talked about it as a family a while back, and, we're real proud of what Mike's doing with the program, especially these last couple of years where they've just been an exciting group of young men to watch play the sport. I mean, still have a love for the sport, love for the institution, and, records are made to be broken, and I'm thrilled for Mike, his longevity here, and like I said, these last few years really just chasing it down have been wonderful to see, and, I was all set and prepared to come up for that day when, it didn't happen, unfortunately, because that was right when the shutdown happened to us, and I felt terrible for Mike, and I sent him a text message that day, saying, "Hey, man, your time will come. You've done a great job. Keep it up, and I know my dad's proud of you as he is of me, because you're doing something well with a program that he loved."
I'm sure you were around during the 95 season that your dad led the baseball team all the way to the regional title. Any memories from that season?
Yeah, just the excitement. It was unheard of, kind of. They got upset. I believe it was an upset in the PSAC championships. I believe, if I remember correctly, they lost 2 in a row to squander that opportunity. But then they got into the region because of the excellent regular season that they had. And in the region, they got to pay Mansfield back in typical my father's fashion of baseball. They kind of took the cap off the winning game with a suicide squeeze type play. And I know that frustrated the coach at Mansfield at the time, but it was great for that group to see them succeed. I was on campus at the time and friends with a bunch of the guys on that team, and they were then and still are a great bunch of guys.
Let's get back to your program. You've made the conference tournaments in each of your 5 seasons as head coach. You've turned the corner by winning the conference title in 2018, back-to-back regional titles in 2018 and 2019. What's been the key to your team's success?
It's really just the culture that we've built here. We're in it together, as I stated earlier, and it just continues to grow that way. Young people that are coming into our program are welcomed in. We don't have a true freshman, senior kind of mentality about us. We are one. We are Bloomsburg University women's soccer, and we are going to do this together. And we always tell them when we suffer defeat, and we do, we suffer that together. But when we celebrate with victories, which we have, and when we raise trophies, which we have, we all do that together. And we have just a great group of young women that have that common mindset. They've been fantastic in the classroom. We continue to raise our GPA every semester. So it's just, when they have, and when I recruit and I bring people on campus and they talk to, my group, they find out that, yes, this is what it's about. We're in it together. We're happy here. It's a great place. I mean, the university itself is great to recruit to. When you walk down on the lower campus, especially for the people that remember it from the late 80s and early 90s before they made the academic quad, it's just a place to recruit to.
What can we expect from the Huskies once we take the field again in 2021?
Our best effort. That's what we're going to look to give. We're going to work hard to that point. The thought process is we don't want to have a fall off. We love and enjoy winning. We also love and enjoy winning right. So our idea is, now that we've kind of made it to the top, it's a little bit more difficult to stay there, but we want to just see, hey, you know what? Nobody had won regional championships in quite some time back to back. We did it. Why not continue to try to do new things that have not been done on campus before?
Now that the easy questions are out of the way, let's get some dirt on head coach Matt Haney. Favorite sports teams growing up?
I was a Phillies fan, and then I kind of switched over to the Yankees, for a little bit in baseball. My dad always taught me to be an independent thinker, and one of the things that I thought made me an independent thinker when I was 8 and 9 years old was, jump on the bandwagon of the best team that my dad doesn't like. So I was with the Niners for a while back then. That kind of ideas, just to spark some conversation between us, of course. But then I've come back to my roots. I'm completely Philadelphia. I love it. I love it all. I was at the 2008 World Series game. It was an odyssey trip for me and my brother to go down and back a couple times because of the weather and all that. But Philly through and through when it comes to the sports.
And any sports role models growing up?
I loved Pete Rose as a player, the Charlie Hustle aspect of it all. I just was a fan of so much, Bobby Clark as a flyer, as a young boy. I loved Wilbert Montgomery, Harold Carmichael, just the old school, those guys back in the early 80s before I switched allegiance were kind of the guys that I really loved growing up and watching.
Any favorite movie that you enjoy watching?
My favorite movie of all time is probably a little bit off the beaten path. I was a Clint Eastwood fan, still am. Loved his young westerns, and High Plains Drifter is just one that I don't know how many people have actually seen, but it's one of my favorites. If I ever catch that on the TV, I'm gonna actually stop what I'm doing and watch for a while.
I've seen a lot of Clint Eastwood movies, but I haven't seen that one, so I'll have to check that one out. So
yeah, check that one out then.
Favorite food?
Favorite food is my mom's chicken tetrazzini. That's an easy one.
Any musicians, bands that you're into?
I grew up. My father was a musician as well, and we grew up as classic rock family throughout the '70s, and so on and so forth. And I took a particular liking to the style of the Grateful Dead when I was a younger person, and kind of still enjoy listening to their music. But I'll listen to any genre of music to see if I like it. If you went on my music feed, you'd see there's a great variety of music on there.
You and my wife get along famously. So if you could meet anyone, past or present, living or dead, who would it be and why?
That's a tough one. I'm going to kind of give it a tie. I think there's two people in history that I really, really admire. Frederick Douglass being one of them, and then James Garfield being the other. I would love to go to dinner with those two guys and just sit there and listen to what they would have to talk about. Unfortunately, as a president, James Garfield had his life taken from him by an assassin. But Frederick Douglass, what he did was just incredible. I still have a little shrine to him in my dining room where he's on my wall, and I look to him for inspiration. His journal or diary or whatever you want to call it is one of the greatest reads ever. If you want to just ever feel like, okay, there's something out there that I can accomplish.
And then finally, best thing about Bloomsburg University?
It's just the overall entity of the whole thing, I believe. The academics are fantastic. We have hardworking professors that challenge our students, our student athletes in particular. I think we have a great staff up here on the hill. I enjoy coming to work every day, especially back in the past when you could see everybody every day. Now, I still enjoy coming to work. It's just you don't see as many people. So I'm so looking forward to the point in time when we can all get back together and be the cohesive staff that has the goal of making this a better place and doing positive things for all the student athletes that come through us. But overall too, when you look at the actual physical plant of the place, you come up here, you look off the top of the hill, get to look down through the valleys. It's absolutely gorgeous. Our facilities are top notch. I think it's a great place to be.
Coach, I really appreciate you joining us here today. Knocked it out of the park, as they say in baseball, and getting this series off the ground.
Fantastic, Dave. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Coach. Head coach Matt Haney of the Bloomsburg University women's soccer team. I'd like to thank Husky Nation for tuning in to our first episode of Beyond the Bench. We hope you enjoyed it. We look forward to sitting down next week with another Huskies head coach. For information on everything Huskies, visit our website, buhuskies.com. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm Dave Leisering. We'll see you again next week on Beyond the Bench. Have a great day, and go Huskies.